Our next honoree is Kathy Blackwell. She is a 1991 grad of the university, and she's also the executive editor of Texas Monthly magazine, everybody's dream job. Seriously, it's got to be like the best journalism magazine outside New York City in the United States, and she does a fabulous job of it. I also happen to know that this Texas Monthly magazine recently, this year, earned 4 National Magazine Award nominations, which is outstanding. Kathy is also the former features editor of the storied Austin American Statesman, another dream job, right? Seriously, a fabulous newspaper. And a lot of people would just envy her for being in Austin. But she remembers South Carolina. She remembers it well. In the letters of nomination for this award, her nominators called her one of the best possible, incredible ambassadors we could have for the School of Journalism and Mass Communications, because she stays in touch. She takes advantage of anything we would throw her way, and she is receptive to students. And she talks about us all the time. She loved being here. I think she has a list of bars she went to every night. I think she had a good time. But I can tell you, I didn't meet Kathy until this morning when she spoke to my class, about 25 kids. And when we were done, she was smitten with them. And they were smitten with her. It was like this chemical thing that was in the air, and it was a small room, so maybe we were just breathing each other's carbon dioxide. But something happened. And I think everybody walked away realizing that something had happened. In fact, a couple of somebodies chased us out into the hallway and continued to want the magic to keep happening. And guess what? She delivered. She did. It was an amazing experience, I think, for everyone. And you can tell when kids are excited and kids know that you know what you're talking about. I mean, she's got the career path to have delivered this knowledge to them, this excitement for journalism to them. I tell them at least every other day, guys, are we having a good time? And we're not going to do this unless we're having a good time, right? I mean, you can go work anywhere else and be anything else, but if you're going to do this, you're going to have a good time, right? Well, she helped further that, and I think that was part of the sparkle that was in the room. Part of the beauty of the relationship, I think, is that she understands the importance of storytelling and mentoring and of mastering changing technology, because you know we're all masters of changing technology, right? But she also understands the parlance of podcasts and the secrets of innovative funding, which I'm sure she'll share with us later, right? Because Texas Monthly has some secrets that we might all want to learn from about how to keep the money tree bearing fruit. But also, when it comes to storytelling, she understands how scene and character play their roles in telling a longer story, especially. She understands the power of the visual image. You have a lot of leeway when you're a magazine to take advantage of the image, and I think that Texas Monthly really does a fabulous job of that. Overall, I think you can come back and we can be smitten with you anytime again. So Kathy Blackwell, everybody.
All right. How am I going to get this back? It's a weapon.
Want to take photos first?
Photos, sorry.
Here.
Actually, I'm going to take this off. Do you mind? Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll come back
Now,
for
we
sure.
know your secrets.
Wow, this is amazing. Oh, a box.
everybody. Yeah,
Oh,
that's how
thank
you
you. That's going to be really helpful. Thank you. I was like, should I wrap it up? No, today was such a treat, and I haven't been back here in a long time, and we're taking the leap from 2012 to 1991 when I graduated. But this is my favorite time of year to be in Columbia, and I grew up in South Carolina, and the fall was always my favorite time of year. And I remember distinctly my freshman year walking on campus, and I realized it was the first time that I felt like I really belonged somewhere my entire life, and it was a great feeling. And every year after that, every fall, I just ate it up, and I would do this kind of ritual walk through campus, through the horseshoe, all the way to, I'm not sure what's there now. It was the business building, but it's by Capstone. I would do this walk and just really take it in, thinking that I had 4 years here, which seemed like a really long time back then. And of course now 4 years is just a blip. But so my freshman year, I fell in love with the school. My sophomore year, I fell in love with journalism, and I took Henry Price's copy editing class, which scared the bejesus out of me. It was I was terrified, and I'm not kidding. It was scary, and I didn't. But I didn't know really what copy editing was, and I certainly learned it in the class. But I was there for, I think I've been there for maybe 3 weeks, and enough to have I definitely didn't fail, but I did not do great on the pop quiz, the news pop quiz. And I think the first time I had to do a headline and count up all the, like how much a letter is worth, which I can still do to this day, which is really great. I was sitting in class, and this student walks in from the Gamecock newspaper, and he looked around the room and he said, "We really need copy editors," because everyone wanted to be a reporter or a photographer, but copy editors were hard to find. And he was offering $7 a paper, and they were doing 3 papers a week at the time, so that was $21. At the time, pitchers of beer were $3, maybe. So my friend and I looked at each other and like, well, this is amazing. So I went to the newsroom. It was the Gamecock, and it was my first time in a newsroom. And everyone was in their groove. They were playing reggae, and we were right down the hall from the radio station, called it the Left Wing. Do they still do that? The Left Wing of Russell House. And I really felt at home and thought it was really exciting. Everybody was really rude to me and made me wait for a while, but I got the job, and within 3 weeks I was the copy chief because I was the only person who could do all 3 papers. But it made me take the class even more seriously, and I completely fell in love with copy editing and became a copy editor at the paper, copy chief, like I said, and worked my way up and eventually became editor-in-chief. But I lost the first time that I tried out for it. I lost to a broadcast major. USA Today had just started, and he decided to do his whole proposal for the Gamecock based on a USA Today model. I filled out my application in pencil because I was told that that's what the EICs did, that we kept it old school. And so I was trying to be, a badass like the other EICs, and it didn't work. And so I knew then that things were changing. And also the tradition that we had my first year at the Gamecock was, I'll never forget the first day that happened. We were on deadline, we were really stressed. And then someone yelled out, "Hey, it's goat feathers time." And everyone, is goat feathers still here?
It's called goats.
It's called what?
Goats.
Goats. Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So goat feathers, and someone called it out, and everyone turned their, I want to say they closed their laptops, but they certainly didn't do that because it in 1988, we turned off whatever device we were using, and we all went to Go Feathers and had happy hour, which is what we did. It was our deadline happy hour. And by the time I was editor-in-chief, my senior year, no one was doing that anymore. It was just serious. You know, we were in a new era. And I would hear that at every newspaper that I went to after that, which was you got here at like the end of the good times at every newspaper I went to. And I went to those newspapers because of copy editing. I graduated in the recession of '91. There were no jobs, and I got an internship at the News and Record in North Carolina, and I got that internship because of all the, they would come here and we'd have hours of meetings, and it was a great experience, and it was wonderful. And so my senior year of college, I realized I didn't have a plan, so I called the News and Record to see if they had another opening for the summer, and they did, so that's how I got that job. But I was sitting outside the dean's office, Dean Shoquist, and he looked at me and he said, "What are you doing? What are you doing after you graduate?" And I told him, and he said, "Copy editing, are you sure? Because I think you would be a really good writer, and this is why." And he told me what he liked about what he had seen from my work at the Carolina Reporter, and I had Ken Campbell, who's sitting right over there, and who taught me a lot too. And it stayed with me. I wanted to be a copy editor. I felt really comfortable with it, and I did it for a long time. So I worked at the News and Record. I went to the Orlando Sentinel, did it there. But something was starting to feel kind of off, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. And I kept thinking, kind of going back to like why I got into journalism. I ended up at the Statesman and ran the features department for a long time and loved it. But while I was doing it, the industry was really struggling, lots of problems. By the time I left, my main job was just trying to stave off layoffs and to make budget cuts and to do what I needed to do to kind of keep things afloat. And I was no longer editing, I was no longer doing the kind of creating that I wanted to do, but they did let me start a magazine at the newspaper. And that's what led to eventually me going to Texas Monthly, where I've been for 5 years. And I'll never forget my first week at Texas Monthly. I was walking through the hallway. We have every cover. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary in February, and we have every single cover on the wall of covers across from the bathroom. But it's nice. And I was walking through the covers, and it was I had this crazy feeling, and I thought, I really belong here. And then I realized I hadn't felt that way since I was at USC. And it was a really good feeling. And I felt that way today. It was just a magical day. It was a beautiful day. I was walking around this campus. The J School is beautiful. It was the Coliseum in the basement when I was a student, very different. The class, Eileen's class today was just everything. They were wonderful. So it's just a real honor to be here. And with me are my husband, Steve, my son, Gabe, who's a junior in high school. He's doing the campus tour tomorrow, which is exciting. He's actually been to a Gamecocks game at A&M, but he'll go to his first game here. And my nephew, Tanner, who is a sophomore here at USC in the business school, he joined us tonight. I do want to say just one quick little thing, which is when I got the email over the spring about this, I was so excited. And the first person I wanted to call was a fellow student who had been with me. She was my news editor when I was EIC of the Gamecock. We were in all the classes together. We graduated together. She worked for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution when I worked at the Statesman, which they were both owned by Cox at the time. And her name was Luz Soto. I told her, so I didn't call her to tell her because I was waiting for the date. And I wanted to let her know when the date for this was so that we could do a reunion, because we were going to do a reunion a couple of years ago and obviously didn't work out. And she ended up passing away of a heart attack. And so I've been thinking about her today as well. And she was very special to me. So I really want to dedicate this this beautiful statue to her as well. So thank you for clapping for her. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to gracefully grab this box.